How's it going, guys? D_Blacktail here, bringing you guys another Samurai video. And guys, it has been a crazy weekend, alright? I was supposed to do a live stream for you guys, and my internet got hacked, and it was just crazy. But we're back on time, we're back on track, and we're gonna get to it. So I just want to give a shout out to you guys. We ended up meeting the 5 subscriber mark. You guys are awesome. So you guys get a Daruma video. That's gonna come later this week. Probably, I want to say around Wednesday. I might get that out a bit earlier, but probably look to Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna get that Samurai School video out to you guys. That's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be about 20 minutes long. I think the Daruma video might be about 20 minutes long too. Yeah, but you enjoy my content, so it's for you guys. I love doing this for you guys. It's only been a month, and it's been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of friends. I've met a lot of people, and it's just been dope. It's just been really amazing. So let's get into this chapter. All right, so the chapter starts off back from where Hachimaru cut off his head to get a point on Ryu so he could stop Ryu from, making contact with him. And, he's just screaming on the ground, his head on the ground, screaming how it hurts so bad, and he doesn't know what to do. So Daruma basically tells him that, hey, this was smart of you to do, but, you probably shouldn't do this. This would be a bad maneuver to do out in the field. So this is kind of smart for Daruma to let Hachimaru know that, hey, you can't just go off cutting your head to not get attacked, because it comes with downfalls, and these potential downfalls could be, as Daruma said, your enemy could escape. I believe, you could get captured, you're just a freaking head. You can't control your body at that point unless your teammate is there or your princess is there around you. So it's pretty pointless to cut off your head. And essentially, if you get your head cut off, you're kind of fucked. So, and Daruma explains this because you cannot control your body, essentially, after your head is removed. Alright, so your head basically controls all the regeneration things that go on in your body, and this makes a lot of sense because I don't know if people thought, hey, how is Hachimaru able to do this, or what would happen if Hachimaru cut off his head, or blah blah blah. So this goes more and more into detail, more and more in depth about Samurai's ability and their potential to continue living even after certain life-ending events. So Daruma goes on to explain that when your head gets cut off, your body regrows from the head, essentially, and that your old body turns to dust. That's pretty interesting. I wonder why that happens, but I hope we get more detail on that. But basically, Daruma goes on to explain that each samurai varies on their regeneration and regenerating and regrowing their body. As we go on with the chapter, Ryu states that, hey, Hachimaru, you're pretty crazy, but he likes Hachi. And Hachi, is very interested in Ryu. He's like, hey, how are you able to combine your two swords? How are you able to do this? So I hope we get more detail on that. I wonder what Ryu's backstory is gonna be, and I wonder what Katsuga's backstory is gonna be, because he seems very interesting at this point. So, but we're gonna get into that a little later. So Hachimaru is just basically asking Ryu all of these questions, like, hey, who's your teacher? Where's your princess and key holder? And Ryu is just like, I don't know. And he's just like, when Hachi asks him about how is he able to combine his swords and change his sword's shape, he's like, I just do it. So I guess his body's maintained its ability to fight, essentially, but he has no memories outside of that. So exploring that is going to be very interesting, because this is why he's on his journey. So more into the chapter, we get more confrontation between Hachimaru and Katsuga. He explains that Ryu, he only met him a month ago, and Ryu has amnesia. And Ryu and Hachimaru calls, he's like, why are you with this rude person? And Katsuga's just like, hey, you know, what's with the third degree? And Ryu explains that Katsuga's a good guy. So I wonder if we're going to get some betrayal later on in this arc, maybe. But let's keep going. So Katsuga goes on to explain, like, hey, Hachimaru, you can't be asking all these personal questions. Even if he did remember what his past was like, he wouldn't just tell you because we just met. And so Hachimaru thinks back to a life of, back to the time he lied to Anne, stating that, hey, I lied to you because I was ashamed of the way I grew up and the life that I lived. So he sympathizes essentially with Ryu, and I'm glad that Kishimoto is giving us more depth on Hachimaru's character slowly and surely by giving us these little panels. And he goes on to apologize to Ryu, and Ryu is like, you're a good guy too. So I love it. It's just adorable interaction. But one thing I want to go back to, Daruma says that if you have to choose between regenerating and reattaching, you should choose to reattach. And this is essentially because you're just reattaching your cut off hand to its severed part instead of recreating a whole new hand or new body part. So that makes a lot of sense. But again, each samurai has different healing factors in their growth. So we're gonna get more into that, a little more into that, hopefully in the coming chapters. So they eventually go on to eat, and Ryu and Katsuga look disgusted at Anne's food, while Hachimaru and Daruma are just chowing down. And so before that, I skipped an important part. Katsuga mentions that, hey, Ryu, don't get too attached to these guys. They might end up betraying us. Plus, if we're lucky, they might get taken out on the planet and we'll be able to take all their stuff. So, and he winks at Ryu, and Ryu doesn't know what this means. But Katsuga's essentially just like, hey, we're partners. This is just our secret. But they eventually, after they're done eating, they're closing in on the planet. And Katsuga says, hey, we should be ready to fight. They see the outside of the planet, it's, Anne mentions that there's 2 grooves in the planet, and Katsuga says, hey, this is the fighting festival. This is what happens every time. The festival sponsor, he cuts a slash into the planet to mark it, basically, to let people know where to go. So we land on the planet, and we immediately see a samurai. He has like a jaguar mask, it's pretty badass, a really badass design, and he has a jaguar key holder, and basically it's just a panel of him and his key holder, and he says, hey, we got a new target, and they're surrounding them. So Daruma lands and in this ruin-like place, and he states that he's gonna hide the ship. He hides the ship, and as soon as they land on the planet, the sponsor says, hey, deploy a stealth field to lock the participants in. And I guess this is like his home, his spaceship, or his key holder, essentially. He's like, do this. And so it deploys this big spatial cover up, I guess, and it just surrounds the planet, and it basically just like it's like a cover up. It just makes it look like there's nothing there, and that's pretty badass. Essentially, I guess it just makes it look like there's nothing there. It's just an empty space. So it's pretty cool. I like these little additions that Kishimoto is throwing in there, and that explains why this tournament has been allowed to go on for so long. Well, this festival has been allowed to go on for so long, if he's able to do this type of thing. He says now there's no escape, as he's cuddled up with his holder. And I love these really dope relationships between the samurai and key holder. They have a really special bond, and I just really enjoy seeing it. And so after this, a number appears next to Hachimaru, Daruma, and Ryu. It only appears next to the samurai, and it says 1572. So this is how many samurai are currently on the planet. And so immediately they get bombarded by samurai. It's 5 of them. And I like how Hachimaru is quick to step into action here. You know, he immediately steps in to protect Anne. I love it. And he immediately comes up with a battle formation. And this goes to my video with Hachi's intelligence, how he is going to be a battle genius. Like, he immediately knows the situation. He's like, hey, this is what Daruma's going to do. Daruma's going to attack the guy above. Ryu's going to take the 3 on the left. I'm going to take the 2 on the right. And they just immediately wipe them out. And I like that coordination and teamwork that they have going on at such an early stage in their relationship. So, you know, this is going to be badass. You know, apparently with this big shield that the sponsor holder put over, this big cloak that the sponsor put over the planet. I can't speak today, mouth's a little dry. But this thing he put over the planet, it jams their signals. It doesn't allow them to escape, and it jams their radar. So essentially, they're in a deserted place. So Alta and Ikaku, who are supposedly on the way to come get Hachimaru, but Hachimaru is essentially just gonna fall off the place of the planet, fall off the place of the earth at a random location. So I don't know if this will impede Alta on his journey. Maybe you'll think Hachimaru died or something, or you know, he's smart enough to realize, hey, you know, he's just being cloaked or something. So this was a really good chapter, 8.5, 9 out of 10. You know, we just really got into this battle royale, and I really like how, you know, there's no stopping point. You know, they keep going. It's one thing after the other. It keeps up with the standard shonen wave that's kind of going on right now. It keeps up, you know, it keeps its pace, quick action, quick points. But we also get the character interactions, the relationships, and the building that I really crave, and the lore, and the and just a lot of things that I personally really enjoy. And this is why I really like early One Piece for me. You know, I enjoy all these interactions and whatnot. So Samurai 8 is in such a good place right now. I love it. Let me know what you guys think down below. And again, thank you guys for the 5 new subscribers. There's almost 25 of us. Let's keep going strong, you know, and expect that Daruma video later this week. Thank you guys. Peace. Reattaching their body. So that's that. But